I have the opportunity for anybody to ask any questions on the report released by the Council of Great City Schools last Thursday to the Board of Trustees. This was something that our special ed department, under the leadership of Dr. Deanna Jaskolski, requested when she transitioned into the job, something that was important and is a need for us to take a deep dive into what we are doing for our most vulnerable children in Clark County School District. The Council of Great City Schools that we are a member of is an association of the 74th largest urban school systems across America. And they had an extensive report and really looking at a deep dive, as I mentioned, into the work that we're doing, and provided 10 recommendations. As noted in the report, and which is a very similar notation from the operations report that they did for me my first year here in Clark County, that they noted that we are at the lowest level of funding for most urban districts across America. When you look at the Nevada plan, look at the funding opportunities for our children, especially our special needs students, we are obviously one of the lowest in the country. We look at class size is also a concern and an issue. Overcrowded classrooms with puts an extra strain on our schools, and also our instruction and some of the needs that we have in our instructional programs for our students. The 10 recommendations are already, and I'll tell you the recommendations, the majority of them are already aligned to our strategic plan. For example, the multi-tier system of support, how students are identified into us providing academic programs for our children, improve referral process and what that looks like, review of the academic achievement data as well. Obviously looking at some of the gaps which have to do with instruction, which has to do with the fragmented curriculum that we have, the parental support, improve the departmental collaboration, our operational units, some of the things that we're already taken into account, strengthening our compliance and transportation management. So some of the things that we're looking at as well. And the last one is where they are recommending a project manager. The project manager is my assistant superintendent, school associate superintendent, Dr. Deanna Jaskolski, who will be responsible for the monitoring of this plan. Now, I know, as the presentation was shared with the board and with the members of the public last Thursday, it's on our website. We will be periodically monitoring this plan. This is not something that's going to sit on the shelf, because our children, our most vulnerable children, deserve for us to move quickly and boldly to provide the education that they are entitled to. So now I'll turn it over for some questions.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jara. I'll just be going down the list of folks who RSVP'd from starting with those who RSVP'd first. So we'll start with the review journal. Alex, do you have a question?
Yes, thank you so much. One highlight of the report was the assistive technology program, which I think the group said was one of the best they'd ever seen. I was wondering if that technology is being checked out to students right now, or if that's a possibility for the future. And then broadly speaking, what do you propose to catch students up on assessments and account for any learning loss when they come back?
Yeah. So on the assisted technology, I mean, obviously these are some of the challenges now with this COVID-19. One of the things that our special educators, I couldn't be more proud of the work that they're doing to really try to get the devices and the support for our students. So that, that's something that we are working on, and really the guidance that our team provided for our families and educators in how do we provide the one-on-one support at this time is something that we are, struggling with, to be candid with you, because of obviously the contact with families. Now, as far as the learning loss that we're expecting, as we've talked about so much, is just really looking at the plans that we have. As I continue to say, is that when our kids come back in August, however that is, whether it's in a distance blended face-to-face, that's going to be something that we'll have to assess. We're using our MAP growth assessment when we get our students back online, meaning face-to-face or in school in August, and then looking at some of the standards that our kids have missed in this last marking period for us to work together and try to find ways to accelerate the learning. Now, for our special education students, we do have the extended summer year program, the ESY program, that is going to be completed virtually. So it's something that we certainly will continue to advocate and make sure that our children participate in that program as well.
Thanks so much. Next up, we have, did you have one more quick question, Alex?
You can come back to me.
All right, thanks so much. Next up, I believe we have Channel 5. Is there a representative from Channel 5?
Yes, hi, it's Ronya Kessa from Fox 5. I don't know if you guys can hear me. Okay, cool. I just wanted to know, is there a chance that we're going to see an uptick in summer school because of grades potentially, I guess grades falling a little bit below average than expected because of this COVID and people being home, or kids being homeschooled and all that?
So right now, right now as summer school, we're looking at obviously the blended model. The concern that we have right now is really on the funding. Is historically what we have done here in Clark County is a summer school fee. We have decreased the cost for families, but it's right now we're not seeing any summer school registration. Well, one of the things that we are doing and providing our opportunity for our students. And the marking period closes this week. Obviously, with the end of the school year, we have seen that our teachers are working diligently and working hard with the students so where they can catch up and make up any missed assignment. When we went into and the school closure, one of the things that was very clear for us was not to penalize our students with missing assignments or missing work for this last marking period. So. It's a little bit up in the air right now as far as summer school for us to see registration at this point.
All right, thanks so much. Up next, I believe we have Sean Delancey, Channel 13.
All right, so this one's kind of a two-parter in relation to the budget projections that were passed yesterday by the school board. First off, with a projected $38 million shortfall, what kind of plans are in place? What projections are you making in terms of making that go into the zero level? And on top of that, talking with John Villardita this morning with CCEA, he said that any cuts to the classroom was a line in the sand. What kind of work are you going to be doing with the union to avoid a situation like we saw last year?
So it's a great question. One of the things that, obviously we have to balance this budget for us. One of the things that has been very clear, this is not something that when we look at our budget reduction, we're waiting on what that final number, as you saw last night, is some of the best projections that we have. We're waiting to hear what the State Department is going to share with us, hopefully in the next week or so, by the end of the month. So we can know and get a better picture. We are also waiting on calculating what the CARES Act dollars for us to see how we can minimize the cut into our schools. We already have the largest class sizes in the country. We look at which is called up on this report, not only on special ed, the instructional materials, the vacancies. This is a time where we need to continue to invest in public education and our children. When we look at now balancing the budget, which is a challenge for us, because we do have to present to this board and approve a balanced budget. One of the things that we are, as our CFO mentioned, there's $108 million that are out sitting in schools. When you look at what that number is, we've had conversations with building principals already. And what that cut would be, and that would be something that we would have to balance between central office and the schools.
Thank you so much. We have Max Darrow, Channel 3. Max Darrow.
Hey, sorry about that. I want to make sure. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Good to see you, Dr. Jara.
How are you, Max?
I'm doing all right. I just unpinned it. Cool. So, Dr. Jara, when we're looking at this report and tying that into now the $38 million projected shortfall, when the district is looking at making cuts to balance the budget because of the coronavirus and this shortfall, where do these recommendations then fit in when obviously those can't happen for free necessarily.
Yeah. So Max, it's really when you look at some of these recommendations that are here, like the multi-tier system of support, that's professional development. And these are things that we were already looking, and we already started going down the path in providing that support, not only academically. How do we provide multi-tier systems of support academically in our schools, but then also for behavior academically. So those things will continue moving on because it's part of our strategic plan, Focus 2024. When you look at the referral and the evaluation system, this again, training. These are training opportunities that we need to continue to have, not only for our teachers, but also for our building administrators. So there are already things in here that are now going to help us strategize to be able to implement. Now, obviously, when you look at the class size, when you look at that's going to be more bodies, and that's where we need to, again, you think about the need for our kids. It's not something that we can say, well, there's budget cuts. I get it that the children here in special needs are things that we need to provide an opportunity to provide a high quality education. So, some of these challenges and that will cost some money, and this is where we have to really work with the legislature to minimize that impact, and then also infuse some of the federal dollars that are coming in to make sure that we protect the rights of our students.
And Dr. Jara, if I may, one more with the timing of the speaking with the individual principals to figure out where these cuts can be made. How soon do they have to get back to you with those kind of, recommendations?
No, and that's when we started anticipating the number, we brought in a group of principals that I've been working with since last summer, and they come in periodically and we work together and say, here's where we are, what are you thinking? So we've had, this was our fourth meeting with them a few weeks ago. We brought them in and before we went to the board to get their thinking. So now what the recommendation actually from the group was, once we have the final number, we don't have to technically come back and do a final amended budget until December. We're going to work with our principals to make sure that we when we open up our budgets and we have a clear picture, not only on the money that we have to shave off in our budget from the state, but then also infusing the federal dollars as well. We'll open up the budget so we do it once. And right now we're thinking a little bit later, as our CFO mentioned last night, well represented is that most likely be, after count day, which is we open up the budgets one more time instead of multiple times. I know that when I got here, one of the big complaints was that we were opening the budget every, too much for schools, and it was really frustrating. So one of the things that our principals recommended is that once we get school started, we'll be able to do that. And I think that's something that will certainly accommodate.
Thanks so much. We have Channel 8. I believe we have Kate Houston.
Yes, hello. Thank you for having me. Just on the topic of next school year, we've touched on it a little bit, but do you have a better idea of how CCSD is going to run starting next year, or is it still pretty up in the air come August?
Right now it's a little bit up in the air still. We had our first meeting with our working group, our reopening working group last week. I know that we're coming back and meeting again. We're breaking up into subgroups, subcommittees, so we can get more folks involved. And then I know that we're working to send a survey to the entire community. We'll share that publicly so we can get some coverage around that, so we can get input. So right now, my recommendation is that actually what I promised the board is that we'll have something by the end of June, what that plan will look like.
Okay, and then another follow-up question for you. Is there an estimate of how many positions are going to be open once people announce some of their retirements come the end of this school year?
No, I don't have that right now.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks so much. Jackie Valley, Nevada Independent, are you on the line? Las Vegas Sun, is there a representative with Las Vegas Sun? All right, Telemundo?
Yes, I'm here. Hola, ¿cómo está, doctor Jara? ¿Cómo le va? Muy bien. Pues un poco de lo que hemos estado hablando, obviamente que lo ha estado comentando en inglés, pero pues un poco acerca de este dinero que se está corto, que no se tiene, cómo esto va a impactar las clases, a los maestros, el sindicato? Un poco comenta en general sobre esto, por favor.
Sí, todavía estamos esperando que el Departamento de Educación nos diga cuánto hay que cortar. Lo que nosotros presentamos anoche a la Junta Escolar fue lo que estamos en la próxima, pensando que es lo que hay que cortar. Todavía no tenemos el número. Lo peor que se cree que es algo que va a cortar en las escuelas y un poco en la administración central. Aquí para llegar a los $38,000 que hay que llegar. Pero sí, también el Departamento Federal nos manda dinero que estamos esperando también, vamos a poder absorber uno de los cortes de eso.
¿Cómo este dinero puede impactar la educación de los estudiantes?
Claro que sí. Eso es lo que necesitamos, que hay que ahorrar. Bueno, hay que defender el presupuesto del Departamento de Educación y del sistema escolar para los niños, porque es lo más importante que tenemos en este estado y en esta ciudad, es lo que estamos invirtiendo en los niños.
Muy bien. ¿Alguna otra cosa que usted guste comentar? ¿Algún mensaje para la comunidad latina?
No, gracias, que sigan y que tengan un feliz verano.
Muy bien, gracias.
Hasta luego.
Gracias. Univisión.
Hola, Jesús Jara.
¿Cómo estás?
¿Qué tal estás?
Muy bien.
Mira, verás, te preguntaba en relación, sí, al presupuesto. ¿Cuándo vamos a tener respuesta del Departamento Federal de los nuevos fondos que ustedes le han solicitado, ¿no? Para cubrir ese vamos a decir, desajuste de $37,8 millones?
Sí, bueno, el Departamento Federal ya mandó un poco el dinero, lo está mandando. Estamos aplicando y lo que nos lleva a nosotros es $82 millones, es lo que la parte de nosotros. La cosa es que estamos esperando para ver lo que el Departamento Estatal nos va a cortar para poder añadir lo que nos está mandando el Departamento Federal ahora.
¿Cuándo va a ser?
¿Cuándo va a ser? Bueno, la aplicación ya empezó y estamos trabajando y apenas terminemos nos mandan el dinero.
¿Es algo que lo tienen seguro? O sea,
Sí.
¿dispondremos de esos fondos o existe la posibilidad de que no haya fondos?
No, sí, eso ya lo mandó el Departamento Federal.
Entonces, ¿no hay riesgo a que vaya a repercutir en la calidad educativa del distrito?
Bueno, depende si lo que estamos esperando, cuánto nos va a cortar el Departamento Estatal. Si nos va a cortar más, nos puede sufrir un poco lo que nos llega y hay que cortar en la educación.
Usted decía que recortaría en las escuelas y algo en la administración central. ¿En las escuelas exactamente en qué sería? Por ejemplo, ¿en profesores? ¿En materiales?
No. Sí, en la escuela lo que vamos a hacer es cuánto vamos a cortar por estudiante, y eso es algo que tenemos que trabajar con las escuelas, y eso es los directores con los padres van a resolver lo que es que hay que cortar en las escuelas.
De modo que en caso de que se produjese un desajuste, ¿no? Y hubiera que hacer recorte, ¿usted tiene otro plan B para conseguir fondos? Por ejemplo, no sé si la legislatura podría enviar un nuevo paquete o un plan B, por así decirlo, para conseguir nuevos fondos.
No, eso es yo no tengo, eso es como se dice, eso es para el Departamento Estatal y para el gobernador. Yo ahora el plan B
Claro.
es lo que nos llega del Departamento Federal ahora.
Por supuesto, sí, claro que ya sé que no es su competencia, pero si les pediría a ellos, en caso de que con el Fondo Federal no fuera suficiente, que hicieran una nueva ayuda, ya que son...
Sí, nosotros hablamos de eso hace como 2 semanas, y eso tenemos un plan también que todavía lo que estamos esperando es que el presidente y el Congreso nos manden más dinero, porque yo creo que nos va a hacer mucha falta.
All right, folks, we have time for one more quick question from each media outlets. Did you have one more, Fernando?
No, that will be enough.
Thank you so much, Telemundo.
I'm fine. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I have Channel 8, Kate Houston.
Nope, I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Max Darrow, Channel 3.
Dr. Jara, just what would you want to tell the parents out there who are wondering what is going to happen beginning next school year after the unfortunate things that have had to happen this year, obviously all around the country?
Yeah, no. So I'm going to tell you, we've learned a lot. Obviously in this last couple months and really providing distance education, the team has been phenomenal. Our teachers, our administrators have done a phenomenal job of just really try to provide the best education possible. We, if we come back, I want the parents to know that, whatever our decisions are going to be is really around the safety and the wellness of our families, our kids, our employees. That's going to be number one priority. So when we make that decision, if we're going to come back face to face, we're going to follow the CDC guidelines. We're going to take all the precautionary measures to make sure that our children and our employees are safe so we can provide an education. I just don't know what it looks like right now. It's too early to tell. I was on a call today with UMC this morning to try to figure out what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. But I want our families, not only of our children, but also of our employees, to know that safety and the wellness of everybody is going to be our top priority.
Thanks so much. Channel 13, Sean.
Yes, just a little bit of a follow-up to the second part of my question from the beginning there. Obviously, you've got a lot of people that are giving advice, things along those lines. What kind of relationship do you have with all of the unions, whether it's the administrators unions or the teachers union or the service personnel, things along those lines? What relationship are they going to play in making sure that everybody is safe and that the budget does come out right?
Yeah, I'm glad you followed up, because I feel that we have a really great relationship. They're all involved in our reopening process. They've been in constant communications with our chief of HR. With CCEA, we have a great relationship. With CASA, we have a great relationship with the administrators, and ESCA, really to protect our employees and moving forward. So, I think that, as we move forward, that's why when we presented our budget last night to the board, we did not make any reductions, not at all. Any reductions to employee compensation is really some things that we need to address at the school level or at the central office to make sure that we balance this budget. But all the bargaining units, our police, everybody has been in constant conversations as we've gone through the closure, also providing distance education, and now they're involved in our reopening process.
Thank you, Dr. Jara.
Thanks so much. Channel 5.
Yes, hi. Just wanted to follow up as far as the message for parents. What message do you have for students that are going to be returning in the fall semester?
Yeah, no, you know what, our kids, I just delivered a message. I congratulating them for finishing the year. They persevere through the process, to our class of 2020. I'm sorry that we couldn't do a face-to-face graduation right now. As I listen to the senior class presidents, we're going to wait and see. Hopefully the guidelines will allow us to help them walk across the stage as they suggested, but want to make sure that we celebrate them. Obviously this summer, stay engaged. We have resources out on our website, online. We have our MAP Accelerator, our Khan Academy, our Actively Learn, our Smarty Hands, all K-12 programs for our kids to stay engaged. Read for 30 minutes a day as you're enjoying your summer from wherever it is, and take care of yourself. That is I want you as our students to stay home, take care of themselves, and be ready to come back and continue moving forward, whatever that looks like. And we'll stay in constant communication with our families this summer to make sure that they're ready to come back energized in August.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Alex with the Review Journal.
Yes, back to the special education report. I think it said that CCSD students have lower rates of exiting into general education, as well as lower rates of inclusion. What are some of the challenges to implementing both of those things?
So, Alex, that's a great question. I think the class size is an issue. I think when you look at in the report, one of the recommendations is with that process, I think providing professional development, make sure that we engage our students, we engage our educators to help them. But I think, the class size is one of the biggest challenges that we have in providing that support. And I just want to be very clear. This is not about that educators are not doing it or willing. It's just been the professional development that we have not provided systemically, and then also the class size. When the funding level has been so low in the state of Nevada, we haven't had the weighted funding formula for special needs students. That's why it's so critical that this funding formula passes. It did pass in last legislation, that we then fund it, so we can provide the resources for our schools and for our students. So I think it's a combination. I think something that we need to do centrally a better job in providing professional development. The class size is an issue, and then also providing that support at the school as well.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Melinda?
Else you want to add? Or?
No, we're good. I just want to thank everybody for joining us.
All right, folks. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, Dr. Jara. Do you have something?
Thanks, everyone. Nope, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.